guys, how you doing? Today we're going to be replacing the driver's side CV shaft or axle on my girlfriend's car. It blew up on her the other day. The boot tore and grease is now all inside of the wheel well and started making a crunching noise. She didn't know what happened, so can't replace the boot now. Got to replace the whole thing. But I mean, it's $60 for an axle, so you know, it's just better to replace the whole thing anyways. Especially because mileage on the car, it's at almost 150,000, so it's just better to replace it anyway. So went and picked up a new axle. New axle, and hopefully I don't have any problems putting this in. You know, it's pretty simple. It's 8 bolts on the one side, and then there's a nut that holds it on the wheel side, and it's not too bad. So I went and grabbed the tools I needed because you're gonna need this car uses a ton of the triple squares on pretty much everything. So for this job, the 8 bolts that hold the axle to the trans are 10mm triple squares. This is an 04 Volkswagen Passat 1.8T, by the way. So that's that. The 8 bolts are 10mm triple squares, and then the axle nut on this one is a 27mm 12 point, I think. Hopefully that's what I read, but we're gonna pop it open and find out for sure right now because I didn't check yet actually. So hopefully I don't have to. Yep. Okay. I'm guessing that's gonna fit. Yep. So 27mm 12 point to pop that nut loose, and 17mm on the lugs. Hopefully you already know that if you own this car, but yeah. So I'm just gonna set the camera up and run just a time lapse here, and yeah, enjoy the install, the messy install I should say, because I got to clean all that grease. One thing to not forget: loosen this nut before you lift the car up, or else you'll never get it off. So go ahead and do that real quick. Alright, so I wanted to show you, it is a big pain in the butt, but you get in here and there's the bolts that hold the axle in with those triple squares. So using my impact gun with a socket and that tool I bought to get in there, so you can get the top 3 and then you rotate the whole drive shaft, and then you're able to get the bottom ones out of there. So it's kind of a pain in the butt. Especially when you go to tighten this, you want to make sure you do a star pattern, so that's going to be kind of a pain turning it every 10 seconds, but you know, it'll work. So yeah. And then for some reason that bolt's seized. So I'm gonna see if I can get this axle out without messing with that, so at least for now. But I guess that's what I get for doing this in 30-degree weather. So yeah. As you can see, I got it out. So finished taking those bolts out, put the nut back in the end, or the bolt in the back in the front. Used a hammer to pop this out, you know, because it's stuck in there pretty good. As you can see, this boot's torn, and ugh, that's nasty. Hands are all greasy now. I should be wearing gloves. I didn't even think about it, but didn't have to take this off. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that nut back on there. Basically, I just took it off the trans, moved it up to the top right, popped the end out of it, and then I was able to move it back to the left bottom and slide this end out towards the driver, and the axle popped right out. So hopefully I have the same luck with getting it back in there. Probably not, because that's how it always goes, but you know, we'll see. So so far this has only been 17 minutes in and I already have the axle out, so. Alright, so we have to switch to my phone camera because for some reason my other camera is being weird and will not charge right now. So it died midway, so I don't know exactly what it did or didn't get. So I apologize, so I'm going to just recap real quick. I'm sorry, I'm going to try to keep this as steady as I can. Basically, like I said, slide the axle back in there. You know, you put the one side up, slide the other side in, and then kind of finagle it around and it fits. You know, hand tighten all of those bolts back into the flange there where it goes to the transmission. Hand tighten this nut back in there. And then basically what you do is you tighten those in a star pattern, and you're going to want to torque them to 57 foot-pounds. At least this is an automatic front-wheel drive 04, so that's what I looked up and found. And you can get a torque wrench in there with an extension, and it's not the best thing to use an extension, but that's pretty much all I could do. So I just guessed, and I did multiple clicks with 57, make sure those are tight enough. You know, you definitely want to do it in a star pattern. I did have to do 1, 2, 3, and then for that one I had to put it in neutral, turn it, and put it back in park, do that one, and then do the other. So I did have to turn it in order to get it all, but did get them all, tightened them all, triple check them, make sure they're tight. And then I went in and started cleaning, you know, popped this back in all the way. And then I tightened that up, you know, by hand. Don't use an impact on this one. Tightened it up by hand, and then I went ahead and torqued it. It says torque it to 140 foot-pounds, and then once you put the wheel back on, which I'm going to do, I'm going to put the wheel back on, set it down on the ground, and I'm going to then take the socket and a solid bar. Once you torqued it, they say do another half turn. So that's what I was looking, you know, that's what it says. So I'm going to give that a shot. And then I'm going to, real quick, I'm going to put that back on there and tighten that up real good. And I'm just going to clean it before I put the wheel back on. And yeah, so it's pretty much done. And it really only took me like 30 minutes, to be honest. It was not that hard of a job. I thought it was going to be way harder than that. But with the right tools, it was pretty simple. So yeah, apologize I had to go back to this camera because it's going to be shaky, so hopefully I can edit and fix that. Alright, so I'm back on the other camera now because it charged up finally. It is now 10:17. It is 4 hours later, and I'm still not done because as soon as I finished that last video I just had in this video, I was putting the last nut on the upper bolt that holds the two ball joints in. Put the nut on and torqued it to factory specifications. Well, guess what happened when it torqued to factory specifications? Snapped off. So I've been working on this thing for the last 3 hours with torch, PB blaster. I went and bought an air hammer, and I'm going to show you here. I still cannot get this bolt out whatsoever. It's literally like welded in there, and I looked up and apparently it's like a common problem, of course, never fails and blah blah blah, and they make some crazy expensive tool to remove it and all this other junk. So I got put in the worst position possible here. The axle's done. The axle's in. The axle's torqued. Everything's good to go. So I put the wheel back on it and drove it. Car drives perfectly fine. That drives amazing now because the axle's in there, so it doesn't make the clunky noise and it's not all crunchy from the old broken axle. But I can't get that bolt out to save my life. And this car has to be driven, like, it's needed. So we kind of just have to drive the car on that for now. So this story is kind of to be continued. So like tomorrow sometime, like in the next couple days, I have to figure out who can help me get this bolt out. Alright, well, I'm going to close this video out. Yesterday, did not get the bolt out. So today's Saturday. Yesterday I was working on a Friday, and I got out of work today, brought it back into the garage, and tried again. Battled it for another 2.5 hours. Cannot get the bolt out whatsoever. So at this point, I'm defeated. I mean, I really can't do anything about it. I don't have the special tool that Volkswagen makes. You know, I'm not about to pay $500 for that. I don't have the proper like extractor drill bit kit. And also I only have a little propane torch, so I really can't heat it up that much. So it's gonna go to my friend's shop or my buddy's shop sometime early next week, and hopefully they can get it out. I mean, if it won't come out, you know, even after the extractor tool, whatever, or they can't drill it out, I mean, that means it needs a whole new knuckle, and possible upper control arms if they can't get the ball joints out, which is just crazy. So yeah, defeated, but it's okay. Can only do so much in the garage. You know, I'm can't wait to have my own shop at a molder and have the access to all those tools. So, you know, at least it's together still. The bolt's still in there. You know, there's slots in the ball joint, so it's not like it's just gonna pop out while you're driving. It's not gonna happen. It's too tight. Obviously, if we can't hit it out, it's not going anywhere. So it'll be okay for the short trips it's got to take for the next 2 days before it makes it to the shop. You know, just take it easy on it, and yeah. So I have a few bloopers for the end of this video that I may add in, but it's been crazy. Hopefully more content on the Eclipse soon. Bringing it home, actually, this coming week. So we're gonna bring a trailer, bring it home. So I gotta do some cleaning in the garage, and since I'm bringing it home, I'll have a lot more time to work on it. You know, especially on the weekends. So time to get this thing running soon. Gotta paint the engine bay. Got a few other things that I want to do and clean it up. So yeah. I just want to say thanks for watching, and and it's really happy to see the channel grow recently. You know, hit 300 subscribers. It's not a lot, but you know, for the couple months I've been doing this, it's growing pretty good, especially with the whole YouTube thing that's going on right now. So you know, if you're original subscriber, you know, OG subscriber, let me know. But yeah, and any tips or anything else you want to see, let me know, please. So have a good one.